Good afternoon, everyone. We are from Group 4, and now we would like to present the result of our discussion about general analysis in the textbooks. And our group members, I'm Katrina Jawakoten and my friends.
I am Agnes Maria Marta Kerans.
My name is Natalia Bunga.
I'm Jacqueline Koni Iba.
In the outline of our presentation today, the first one, we'll see and discuss about what is genre in the general and genre in the types in the textbooks. And the second one, we'll see the types of text in the textbooks, the definition, structures of the text, language features, and the example of the text. And the last one, we'll see the evaluation. Now, for the first speaker, time is yours.
Okay, for the first slide, we're going to talk about what is genre. So genre refers to a category of artistic work, such as literature, music, film, or video games that share similar characteristics or conventions. It helps to classify and organize creative work based on their common elements, such as themes, style, and structure. Genre analysis in textbook refers to the examination of different types or categories of text, focusing on how language is used in specific contexts to achieve particular communicative goal. In educational settings, textbooks often contain a variety of genres, such as descriptive, argumentative, and explanatory texts, each serving a distinct purpose. Understanding genre can help students to predict the content and structure of text, identify the author's purpose and intent audience, analyze the use of language and rhetorical devices, evaluate the effectiveness of the text. The next slide is about type of text in the textbook. The first is we have the explanation text. The explanation text is a text which explains how and why a phenomenon happens. It includes both natural and social phenomena. Explanation text is used to provide information by explaining a phenomenon in detail. There are two types of explanation text. The first is sequential explanation text. This text explains about a process in order and time. For example, is how sweater becomes salty. And the second type is cause and effect explanation. This text explains the cause and effect of a phenomenon. Then the generic structure is the first one is title. This is given the text gives an overview of the content of the text. Then the second is general statement. This part will explain about the general description of the thing explained in the text. Third is the explanation part. This section provides a series of processes about how and why something happened or cause an event explained through a sequence of events and can have more than one paragraph. And the last one is conclusion, which contains the conclusion of the entire process that has been explained previously. And then is about the lineage future. This text using simple present tense, which is to explain how and why something happened. The second is using the passive voice, is to emphasize that a person or object is experiencing something. The explanation text emphasizes the object being described without knowing who is doing the work. Then the third is the connective word, are words that connect idea in explanation text. And the last one is about technical terms. Technical terms related to the phenomenon discussed. The second is about the instruction text. This instruction text is a type of text that aims to provide guidance or instruction on how to perform a certain action or activity. The purpose of instruction in this text is to guide the reader or user to carry out an action correctly and effectively. Here we have the generic structure. The first is the purpose. So in this first part of the instruction text is to describe the purpose or usefulness of the action to be performed. Second is steps or sequence of actions to be performed by the reader, or these steps should be described in detail and in orderly fashion using clear and concise imperative or command sentences. Second is the language features. The instruction text use the imperative sentences. The second is use clear and concise grammar and contains systematic or organized steps or sequence of action, and use technical terms or words relevant to the topic of instruction. Here we have an example. This is about the video game instruction, science experiment, and earthquake evacuation procedure. We have also the difference between instruction text and procedure text. The first is about the objective. Instruction text provide instruction or guidance on how to perform an action, while procedure text aims to explain the stages or steps in performing an action or activity. Second is the focus. Instruction text focus more on instruction or commands, while procedure text focus more on the sequence or steps in performing an action. Third is the structure. Instruction text consists of three main parts, namely objective, materials and tools, and steps, while procedure text consists of steps that are explained in orderly manner. And the last one is the language. Instruction text use imperative or command sentences, while procedure text use declarative or descriptive sentence.
So the next types of text in the textbooks is about narrative text. So what is narrative text? Narrative text is a type of text that tells a chronological story in the past tense. Narrative text tells a series of events in a chronological order and are interconnected. The nature of narrative text is imaginative or consists of fictional story that aim to entertain the reader. So we have a generic structure of narrative text. The first one's orientations, the second was complication, and the last one is resolution. So the orientations, the meaning of orientation is the introductory paragraph. In the introduce the character involved in the event of the story. And complication, this consists of paragraph explaining the beginning of the event or incident. And the resolution, this is the ending part of the story. And then we also have language feature of narrative text. So the first one is past tense, using past tense. The second one is using adverb of time. The third one using time conjunctions. The fourth is using specific character, and the last one is action verb. Next, here example of narrative text. The first one is fable, second is legend, third is fairy tale, four is myth, and the last one is.
So the next is recount text. The definition of recount text is text which retell events or experience in the past. This means that a recount text is a text that retells events of experience that happened in the past. The past here doesn't mean the very distant past, such a historical story, but rather events that haven't happened very long ago. And the next is a generic structure of recount text. The structure of recount text consists of three parts, namely orientation, series of events, and reorientation. The first one is orientation. This part is the opening part of the text or the introduction that contains the background of the event, such as who is involved or when, where the event occurred. And the second is series of events. This part is the body of the text that contains a series of sequence events experienced by the author. And the last one is reorientation. This section is the closing of the text, which contains the conclusion message, impressions, or feeling of the written on the event experience. The next is linguist feature of recount text. Recount text have two linguist features. The first one is using simple past tense, and the second one is using a verb of time. And the next is example of recount text. A trip to the National Zoo and Aquarium. The travel on the train of the first time, marathon race, and my grandpa's hometown.
So the fifth example of text in textbooks is descriptive text. In general, descriptive text is a text that describes about someone or something in detail. Or in Indonesian, descriptive text is a type of text that contains a description or description of an object in detail. The depiction of object in descriptive text can be in the form or of physical or non-physical description, which can provide readers with an understanding of the object being discussed. Well, this object can be a person, animal, object, or place. The first, we'll see the generic structure of descriptive text. We have identification and description, and the linked feature that used in descriptive text in adjective, simple present tense, and the adverb of frequent. Example of descriptive text: the white tiger, my best friend Honey, the sea eagle, Andres' dog, and the table. So this is the evaluation. So we provide some question for exercise based on the learning objectives. Here are 5 questions to assess students' knowledge of text. First question is about what is the main purpose of a narrative text? A, to provide information and explain a topic. B, to tell a story and entertain the reader. C, to give instruction and guide the reader. D, to describe a person, place, or thing. The second question, which genre typically use chronological order and past tense? A, descriptive text. B, explanation text. C, recount. D, instruction. And number 3, what are some common features of an explanation text? Number 4, in an instruction text, what is the purpose of using number steps? And here's the choice, the multiple choice. And the last one is, how does the audience of a text influence its genre? And you can see the key answer of the question that we provide in the exercise. Number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think that's all for our presentation today. And thank you for your kind attention.